Well, it's pretty amazing. I haven't had a single show retrospective, and it's very gratifying to see all this work in one place and to have the community come and to see the breadth of what I've done, including the three-dimensional work, because usually I show one or the other. So it's been a pretty good run, and it tells me a lot about the era in which I did them. I was saying in my artist talk that it was done, a lot of this was done before Reagan came along and started talking about the me economy. So a lot of the early works were done without regard for how much money am I going to make, or what is it for, or any external influences, except for the shared joy and passion for the medium and for the cause, or just the idea that we were starting something new. So to see that on the wall and to be able to explain it to others is most gratifying. Inspiration probably came from the Asian American movement and other third world movements that I was part of. Because I graduated in 1971, so that was a time when everything was starting to blossom. We take it for granted now, but when I graduated, there were not many people doing silkscreens at all, and not many people doing work that related to the community. We started everything, and it was kind of an exciting time to be part of, and I really wanted to do something besides what I was doing at Pratt. I met up with my then boyfriend, Bob Shang, and people like Corky Lee and Joanne Miyamoto and John Gao, and we formed this group called Asian Media Collective. So my first movement-related work was actually film. We felt the need to document all the exciting stuff that was happening at the time. And so I took my Super 8 camera and started shooting demonstrations and the first health fair, the first, whatever, you name it, the first thing that, that was pertinent to the community. Yeah, I was asked to join the collective because I had majored for a semester in film, and I knew how to edit film. And so none of the other people did. They were still photographers. So that's how I got into creating work. Actually, I wanted to be a painter like Van Gogh. And I had very romantic dreams of having my easel out in the field somewhere and painting. But my parents instilled in me that you have to make some money and you have to be practical. So I majored in visual communication. And I think that's where I got my first training in how to convey a message strongly. And the graphic style probably came from Cuban poster art. A lot of us were enamored of Madero's. He did a beautiful poster of Vietnam, which we all hung in our rooms. And I started studying all the Cuban poster makers. And that flat graphic style seemed to me the best way to convey a message, especially a protest message, and have it carry. You have to be able to see it from across the room. I could say most of my posters, you can spot it a mile away because it is so devoid of busy detail and it is so bright. At Pratt, you got a very concentrated art education. in all aspects. I mean, I spent a whole semester drawing an egg, so it was that kind of school. But one of the things we studied was art history. And it was a biased history. There weren't many women in the book, and there weren't many people of color in the book. But we did study people like Katie Kowitz, who really influenced me. A lot of the German expressionist artists influenced me, mainly because the passion showed through. It was very expressive. And when I came out here, a lot of the Chicano mural artists were introducing me to Diego Rivera and Siqueiros. And I love Siqueiros because he also had that passion and that gesture that, one gesture expressed it for everybody. And I think, between Katie Kowitz, her caring for the common person, and Siqueiros with his sweeping gestures, somewhere along the line I found my style, which is to have one face, usually one close-up of a face, express it for the whole community. And that's why you see a lot of single people in my images. Well, the other person who influenced me a lot was Matisse. And I've loved Matisse's cutouts from when I was in school. And I think a lot of his color schemes also became mine. I think with Matisse, it was the flat shapes that I was drawn to. And there, if you know Matisse's work, his colors also move you around. They're very vibrant, and one color is repeated in one corner and then another corner, so your eye follows the same color. I try to have a color balance like that in my work. My work is tight like a jigsaw puzzle, so that everything fits together and there's no extraneous piece of detail in it. So yeah, I think Matisse was the one that influenced me that way. It's a confluence of all these things, There's Matisse, and then there's Katie Kowitz, and then there's Siqueiros, and everybody working in my brain, and then it comes out as a piece of art that is kind of uniquely my own, but you can see all the influences.